Tere! Minu nimi on Elvis ja ma olen Leedist. While we're waiting for slides, I will already start. So I'm product manager of Latvian business intelligence software Flex.bi. And we have been analyzing standard books and standard ERP data for more than 7 years. But today I'm very excited to come here to talk about something new. And sorry, are slides going to be there or not? Just because otherwise everyone needs to look there. It will be very inconvenient. Although we could, you know, turn the tables around. All right. So you might ask what can be new there with standard books being around for more than 20 years and us being around more than 7 years. Well, the new thing is that we have finally put them together. So already 5 years ago, we had this idea that we need to include Flex.bi in standard books product so that you don't have to switch between different softwares, you don't need to deal with setting this whole thing up. And now it's finally here. So there's Flex.bi, there's standard books, but now there's embedded analytics inside the product. And today I will explain why the heck you might be interested in it and how it works. So first of all, why? So what we, I think, offer is to look at your data from a different perspective. And there are two sides of this. One is the visual side. Let's say you imagine having, 10 numbers. It's very difficult, actually, to compare those 10 numbers to understand which one is the biggest one, which one is the smallest one, and so on. And now, when you visualize data in any sort of a graph, we are just built, us humans are built like that once we see a thing, we understand it much quicker than when we need to understand the numbers and the content behind it. So that's one side of things, that is just much more faster and much more efficient to understand your data that way. The other side of things is the context. So one thing is that you, run a report and you see a turnover for an item, for example. Well, what does it mean, 100,000? It means 100,000. But when you put it in context with, let's say, previous 6 months, or different customers, or different items, or different item groups, or something like that, then it suddenly gets meaning, because then 100,000 is more than 90,000 or less than 200,000. And it's more than previous month, for example, or something like that, right? Then suddenly you have the value from the data and you can make a decision based on that information. So those are the perspectives that I think we can offer. So we encourage you to think differently. Obviously, everyone loves, including myself, the standard books reports. They are great. You can, you can open the records directly from them and do your work very efficiently. But they are great for the day-to-day work, to work on something today that I need to do today. They are not good because they are not meant to do data analysis. So if you need to compare turnover of 5 item groups, you very often need to run the same report for 5 times, then compare it on the screen or export it to Excel, compare it there, do your calculations, a lot of unnecessary hassle. And then you, well, not you, other people complain that those reports are not good enough. Well, it's just that they are not meant for that, right? And so instead of trying to use these reports for what they are not meant to be, we encourage you to try something that is meant for that. So let's have a look how to do that now when Flex.bi is integrated. It's very simple. So there's a BI button on the standard books master window that you can click, and guess what? BI dashboard will appear. And then also we have created a couple of context-sensitive reports on the item card, customer card, item group card, and customer category. If you will open them, then on the BI tab, you will see a report about this particular item, item group, customer, and so on. And you will instantly see this item in the context of previous periods, different items, let's say how big percentage of a turnover this item is in your whole portfolio, and things like that. But obviously we don't have access to your data by default. You need to consent to that. So, but we made it very simple as well. All you have to do in one of these windows to click Activate BI, read the terms. Everybody does that always, right? And then we will gain access to your data. We'll be able to import it and show the graphs and the reports. The important thing to note here is that this is a special, excellent Flex.bi installation in the excellent cloud. So the data actually stays in the same place where it is now. So there are no additional security concerns regarding that. So let's go into details, I think, about the main thing here, and it is, we call it Company Pulse Dashboard. And let's start with for whom this dashboard is meant. And primarily it's for people who deal with the sales side of the company. So it's company owner or management who need to understand how the company is doing. Are we selling enough, not enough, and so on. Obviously, department managers, because those are smaller companies inside a bigger company, so they need the same things. And we encourage to trust your sales teams in general, salespeople, that they also want to know how they are comparing or stacking against other salespeople, how their customers are doing, because they don't want to run those reports themselves as well that much. So very often salespeople are actually very, very happy to get this quick access to visual information because they are always running and trying to get that result. But obviously, you know, accountants and CFOs and financists will be happy as well, but for the reason that they don't have to prepare reports for management and department managers and so on. So what are some of the questions that this dashboard might help to answer? So obviously the main one is how the company is doing, or how the sales side of the company is doing. You know, what is the turnover, what's the profit, how many customers we have served, how many new customers we have gained, what's the average turnover from a customer, and things like that. But what's more important is that it's not just a pretty picture, it's an interactive picture. So you can interact with this dashboard, and if you see that, you know, profit looks a bit suspicious, you can actually find the causation of that, which is sort of the main, I think, goal of a BI, to allow you to find what caused something. And then, you know, if you have some goal, for example, to reach some turnover or profit targets, then obviously you can use the dashboard to understand whether, let's say, in the last month we reached our profit target. But we encourage to use BI on an everyday basis for sort of agile management. And so for that, we are creating also forecasts so that you can not just look at the previous month, but most importantly, look at the current moment, current month, to understand whether we will hit the target this month, for example. Obviously, not for all companies that works that way. My company generates all the turnover in first 5 days, you know, but for majority of companies, it works quite well. And one other thing to note here is that, unfortunately, in this embedded version, those targets or goals, you have to keep them in your mind and then compare to what you see on the screen. It's not possible to sort of put your goals into the dashboard. However, later on I will explain how you can actually get that as well. So obviously, if you will see that something is going worse or better, you will want to understand, for example, which salesperson caused it. So you will be able to see who is performing better or worse than before, who is the best salesman, the worst salesman, all those things. Same things about items, maybe you want to order something from your supplier and it's a 2-month lead time and you need to understand how much to order. Well, you might benefit from seeing a timeline of how this particular item is performing. Is it profitable? Is it demanded? Should you agree on a different cost price? Should you raise a price? Should you not buy or sell the item at all? Things like that. And same thing about customers. Is the customer active? Are we about to lose the customer because it's not active? Or maybe there's a sudden increase. Why is that? So all of these questions you can actually find from one dashboard. And let me try to show you a couple of examples. I will start from here so that you see how it works. So I click on the BI button, and obviously this is demo data, and this is how it's going to be in your standard books installation until you activate Flex.bi, embedded Flex.bi. But just to show you how it works is that, for example, it seems to me that this gross profit is a bit too low. So let me drill into item groups and see how this compares with amongst groups. So I can see that some are performing better than others, but I want to see how it compares between them percentage-wise. So which one is bringing in the most profit? Or maybe I want to now see how it did, let's say, a year ago. So let me do that. And I will quickly add how it performed a year ago, and what is the change compared to a year ago, and things like that. So you can see that it's very easy to add calculations and see that probably my main issue is audio products group, because the gross profit has fallen there the most. I can go deeper to the item level and understand that, okay, cassette decks are probably going out of fashion, so that might be the problem, and CD players as well. But still, who is still selling them? I mean, that might be a hero of mine in the sales team. So let me see, and I see that Norbert Dinnerplate is still selling cassette deck players and CD players. He has a very special customer group, probably known. So things like that you can do quite quickly. Plus, you can also, once you actually work with these reports in this way, you can also export these results to, let's say, Excel or PDF, so that you can go to Norbert in this case and ask, where do you still find customers who buy cassette deck players? Or maybe I can, see, look at my salespeople. I can quickly see that the Norbert had a bad patch here. Maybe he was on vacation, but he's recovering. But Linda here is showing bad signs. She had a good turnover, but now it's falling. So let's try to see, for example, let's try to see, where are customers? Yeah. So let's see what are her customers generating her turnover. Okay, well, now I see customers, but what I want to actually see is how it compares to, let's say, a month ago. Because then I suddenly can see that these 4 customers had a turnover a month ago, but they haven't brought in anything this month. So I can go to Linda and say, look, what about this New World import-export? They used to be a good customer, yeah? Where they have gone? Have we lost them to competitors, or they have some issues and we need to think about our debit control? Things like that, right? So in this way, you can use the dashboard and look at the data from different sides and see very quickly, for example, if something is in the red or in the green, so to speak, and so on. Alrighty. Oh yes, and then yeah, if you click that share results button, then the dashboard will open actually in your browser, which means that there's more space to work with it, and then you can also export this result to, let's say, Excel or PDF or PNG, depending on the report, and also you can what's very important also, you can use these filters here on top, and so for example see the same data only for specific customer group or maybe specific item group, or maybe multiple specific item groups, right? So very quickly, you can't even compare it to working in standard books reports, getting the same data. All right, so yeah, I explained about share results. So let me reiterate about the benefits I think you might get. So first of all, time saving. No exports to Excel spreadsheets, no combining them in Excel spreadsheets, no time wasted understanding which one is the correct one. Is it my Excel which says the right thing, or is it your Excel which says the right thing? Who's right here, right? And plus, as I explained, there's the other side of time saving, not the one by somebody, spending on creating those reports, but also the fact that, let's say, if accountant is creating reports, they will normally do it after they are that have dealt with VAT, for example, because they want to ensure that the month is correct. And obviously, then around this time, 24th of May, I will find out data about April. Then I will go to Norbert, talk about his April performance, and I don't know how he's performing in May, and we will be able maybe to agree that he will be performing better in June. So if I actually go to him on the 24th of May and say, dude, you are underperforming this month now, maybe he can actually do something in this week for the month of May. So that's the difference in using real-time reports. Availability, you don't have to deal with access rights and just sending somebody to a different site or something like that, different tool. The reports are right there in the product. Everybody who has access can open them and use them. Results with context. I covered that, right? So different periods, different salespeople, different item groups, you can combine all of that. And even if we haven't thought about it in these reports, you can still add calculations on your own. They are interactive, as you saw. Everything is drillable, everything is filterable in different various ways. You can customize them by adding your calculations and so on. And you can share the results once you actually get that nugget out from your data and you want to consult your colleagues about something. And I will stress that these dashboards and reports, this is something we spent a lot of time and effort working on. We had many different versions and fights about what should be included in those reports and what shouldn't be. But obviously we got it, most likely we got it wrong. So what we are very, very keen on is to hear customer feedback. What are you missing in that in those reports, or what is there too much maybe of, and things like that. So feel free to contact us and let us know how these dashboards could be improved. However, not all of your wishes will be possible, and they actually shouldn't be. All of them shouldn't be possible, sort of, because they, each company is a bit unique, and you will have your unique wishes and needs. So I will explain how that works. So this embedded dashboard and reports you have access for a trial period of 2 months, which is normally the period when you close a month and then the next month starts. So there's enough time for you to understand whether you can gain enough benefit from these reports. And after that, they will cost €9 a month, which is what, a couple of coffees. So I think it's a terrible, not terrible, terrific value for money. However, what's important is that, let's say, if you go into a shop and buy pants, it's nice to know that if you will grow in any of the dimensions, that the pants will grow with you. And so you can rest assured that Flex.bi will be able to grow with your needs. So if you will need to add any other software, any other data source, like import your goals, budgets, create some custom dashboards or whatever you might need, then it will be possible starting from €59, depending on your needs, including support for stock module, sales, orders, job costing, whatever. 14 modules, I think we support altogether. And also we can support consolidated reporting. So if you have, let's say, 4 companies in standard books, we can actually create dashboards where you can compare the companies or select from one or the other, or create consolidated financial reporting for group management and so on. And yeah, if you have anything in your Google Sheets like budgets, goals, something like that, or maybe you have some other software like, I don't know, Jira or anything else really that can allow access Flex.bi their data through a REST API or SQL, then we can import that data and combine it in the belly of Flex.bi, and then based on that you can create reports, dashboards, and publish those dashboards on TV screens, which is very, very popular amongst our customers to use Flex.bi as a motivational tool to align everyone around the same goal, so that everyone knows how we are performing and are we reaching that goal and so on. So yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to, on the Excellent webpage, there's a page dedicated to this embedded analytics product, but feel free to open Flex.bi and contact us and ask any questions and ask for help. And yeah, give us feedback. Main thing, give us feedback, please. All right, thanks.
Great stuff. Thank you, Elvis.